Greetings. My name is Abdullah, and I am your teacher for Advanced English from New York City. It is my duty to help advanced speakers of English move to a higher level, the level of native. Today's article might make you angry. The headline is Italian lawmakers want to ban new drivers from cars with more than 95 horsepower for 3 years. And this comes to us from yahoo.com from Lewin Day. So, Italian lawmakers want to do what? They want to ban. What does ban mean? Ban means to forbid something, especially legally or officially. For example, smoking cigarettes has been banned in many countries because of its negative effects on the lungs. So, again, to ban something means to forbid it, especially officially. It's often argued that new drivers should be restricted from driving powerful cars until they are mature and experienced enough to handle them. Italy has long maintained such rules, and lawmakers are now moving to extend them to a greater selection of drivers than ever before. So, according to the article, some say that only mature drivers should be allowed to drive powerful cars. What does mature mean? Mature means that you have completed your growth and development, especially mentally. So, for example, although she is only 17, she is very mature for her age. So, again, mature, in other words, means to behave like an adult. But what if you're already an adult or you have a lot of experience driving? Let's find out. As reported by Quattro Rute, Italians' former driving rules banned first year drivers from cars with more than 70 kilowatts or 93 horsepower or whose power to weight ratio exceeds 55 kilowatts or 73 horsepower per metric ton, meaning 2,200 pounds. The rule extends to 65 kilowatt or 88 horsepower per ton for hybrid or electric vehicles. A new decision from Italy's Council of Ministers extends that restriction to 3 years for all new license holders. The new rules must still pass parliamentary procedures to get enacted, but the move is a strong indication of the government's will in this area. So now we see they want to extend the restriction from 1 year to 3 years for new drivers. What is the meaning of restriction? A restriction is a limit on an action or movement. For example, their wives want to put a restriction on how much ice cream they can eat. So again, there would be a restriction for new drivers extended not from 1 year, but to 3 years. The rule applies to all new drivers in Italy. The legal driving age in Italy is 18. So it formally forced young drivers into humbler cars until they turn 19 at the least. Now, those same drivers will be expected to drive low powered vehicles into their early 20s. The rule applies from the date of obtaining a license and is not tied to age. Thus, foreigners that move to Italy and obtain a local license, or those that obtain a license later in life, are subject to the same restriction. Humble is a great English word that has multiple ways you can use it. Here, humble means not special or very important. For example, even though Faris al-Balushi has different successful companies, he lives a very humble lifestyle in a small house with one car. So again, humble means ordinary, not very special or important. It's unclear how the rule will be applied to existing drivers that may have held a license for 2 years and purchased a more powerful vehicle after passing the original restriction. This could be dealt with under a grandfather clause for earlier drivers or a similar carve out. What is a vehicle is a question that I am often asked. A vehicle is something that is used for transportation. You can fly in it, you can float in it, maybe it has two wheels or four wheels. You could be underwater or even in space. All of these are examples of vehicles. Other countries have pursued similar legislation. For example, some Australian states ban new drivers from vehicles with over 130 kilowatt or 174 horsepower per ton, or certain vehicles that have been classified as high performance models by the government. When I promised to help you improve your English, I meant it. What is the meaning of pursued? Pursue is higher level English. It means to try to achieve something, usually over a long period of time. For example, he pursued learning English, so he subscribed to my channel. If you're reading this in the US, the power numbers cited by Italian authorities likely sound absurdly low. Even regular commuter cars like the Honda Civic or Toyota Camry would be far in excess of the restrictions. The Mitsubishi Mirage is one of a handful of modern cars from the US market that would be legal for new Italian motorists to drive. So you're telling me that even a Honda Civic or Toyota Camry would be in excess of the restriction? What is the meaning of excess? Excess means an amount that is more than acceptable, expected, or reasonable. For example, yes, she is wealthy, but she still refuses to pay an excess of $20 million dollars for the estate. So again, excess is an amount that is more than acceptable or reasonable. Here we have a photo of the type of car that would be legal for you to drive in Italy if this becomes the law. However, the restriction highlights the different cars available on the European market. Unlike the US, many compact city cars are available with less than 95 horsepower, from the low end models of the Fiat 500 to the Volkswagen Up. There's even a 71 horsepower Toyota Yaris with a 5-speed manual that will slide under the limit. Though even the lowest models of the Honda Fit have just a few horsepower too many. I have to be honest with you. I thought long and hard for many days how to explain this English idiom, slide under, because slide has many meanings. I want you to look at these trucks. Imagine that they are 19.5 tons. These bridges, for example, have a law that says no truck over 20 tons can cross over. Therefore, these trucks slide under the restriction. So again, slide under means to barely pass, to barely get by. Italy is well known for for its tight streets and its corresponding love for compact cars. However, in the modern era, it's almost shocking to hear that new drivers are banned from driving from cars with shock horror triple digit horsepower. To extend that for 3 full years seems excessive, but it bears noting that Europeans simply don't consider low powered compact cars to be such a penalty like we do overseas. This is why I like using newspapers to teach English. Bears noting is great English. It means something is worthy to be spoken about, talked about, or said. For example, it bears noting that my student Abdurrahman Maymoon wrote 2 great sentences in the comments of my last video. So again, bears noting means something should be said about somebody's action or something that was done. So it bears noting those who subscribe and write their names in the comments, inshallah, I will use your name in an example sentence in a future video. And as always, I wish for myself and my family, for yourself and your family, the best in this life and the next. Fi aman ar-Rahman.